So I'm Arman. I go by ArmanTrades online. Since the start of my profit journey, I've been funded over 7 figures, and I've never done a challenge more than 300k. I get about 2 to 3 trades a week.
All right.
Even though they're like scalps,
Yeah.
it's only 2 to 3 scalps a week, and I was now minus 1.5k in my bank. So I started taking it very slowly. Like 2 hours later, I'm still thinking about I'm down like 1,000 on my real account, right?
Yeah. Would you say is the difference when it comes to trading your own capital as compared to trading with the pro firms?
It's definitely the psychological area because personal capital you lose.
Thank you, Arman, for joining today.
Thanks for having me.
For the audience, tell us something about yourself, who you are before you became the top G of trading.
So I'm Arman. I go by ArmanTrades online, and I've been trading for about 4 years now. Started when I was 16 years old,
Yeah.
and now I've just finished university. I'll be fully going full-time trading finally, and I have, since the start of my profit journey, I've been funded over 7 figures. I've only failed one challenge, and since then I've passed all my challenges and been just making payouts until obviously recently that
Yeah.
I've been failing a lot of challenges because all the pro firms just going down, right? So
Yeah.
losing accounts.
So you started 4 years ago, and how long was it ago when you started with the pro firms?
I started pro firms about 2 years ago now, nearly.
So how much did you do in total payouts?
Just about 200k.
200,000 in 2 years. And I saw you did in your first year, I think 100,000.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So how you came to know about Forex at the age of 16? It's incredible. Like I remember when I started, I was 19 years old back in late 2016 and early 2017. And at that time, I was doing my bachelor's. So you started, I think, when you were in your high school at the age of 16. How you came to know about trading?
I came across trading from like a friend that he just told me about investing into crypto.
Yeah.
Like he told me to invest on meme coin, and I was like, let me just do it.
How did it go?
Not good. I lost like £100 from that.
Yeah.
So that's where I started looking more into like trading, right? Because when you invest, there's like charts and stuff on the app. So I was like, this is interesting. So from there, I just started looking deeper into it until I came across you can actually manually trade
Yeah.
like time frames and everything. And that's when I started trading.
That's perfect. So you started 4 years ago. And it took you how much time to become profitable before you started even your pro firm journey?
I would say like 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
2 to 3 years to actually become profitable. Because first year, there was still so many like refinements I had to make in my system, in my approach to trading, right? Like sure, I didn't lose money or blow accounts, but I still wasn't like extremely profitable.
Yeah.
I might be in drawdown for a long time and then come back and make a small payout. That's profitable, but it's still not like ideal. So still a lot of learning.
So how many accounts you overall blow before like you were profitable on your personal account before the start of your pro firm journey?
Personal accounts, I never blown any.
Oh,
I
that's
never
nice.
started a personal account.
All right. So yeah, you were trading demo only.
Only
when you were-
demo.
okay.
I might have done like £100 personal account.
Yeah.
But then maybe I lost like £2-3, just stopped trading. It was like
okay.
nothing that big because I didn't find it too interesting if the money was too small, right?
Yeah.
Like £100 account,
It's
you
nothing.
can't really trade it. Like you win £3, sure, like, that's 3%, right? But you don't feel it that way.
Exactly.
Like you make 3% on 100k, you're like, that's so much money. But on £100, you're just like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So when you did your first challenge, what was your very first firm and how much was the account size?
My first one was my Forex funds.
All right.
And I've never done a challenge more than 300k.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 300k my Forex funds challenge. And that one, I ended up failing it.
All right. So that was the only one that you failed, actually.
That's the only one, yeah.
Oh, very nice.
So I failed that one. And at that time, I had no job, nothing. I had a maintenance loan from the university.
Mm-hmm.
So they were literally giving me money for like studying and stuff.
Yeah.
So I bought the 300k with that money. After that, my bank was at 0.
Yeah.
So now I had no option, but I realized my bank gave me an overdraft option.
Okay.
So I bought another 300k and I was now minus 1.5k in my bank.
All right. Yeah.
So luckily, that account went really well. I managed to come back up into profit, made like 15k payout, and then from there, it just went all good.
Like I remember I saw your reel and it was minus 1500 you were showing in your account. And I was like, literally, that was the bottom that you faced. Even though like you were very young and you're still young.
Yeah, I recorded it. I knew I was going to come back from that.
Yeah, man. Literally, once you start, you have that feeling. Most of the people, they quit just after a few months. But if you stick to a couple of years and you keep learning, I think you start to develop that feeling inside you that you're going to be making profits. You just said like you were in minus 1500, but you knew you were going to become back. So, and you did come back very well. So now let's move on. I want to know like, how do you approach to pro firm, how you pass challenge? And after the very first time when you fail, you haven't failed any challenge. You did overall 200k in payouts as well in just 2 years. So what was your overall approach? How you were taking phase 1, phase 2 and funded account?
So over the past like 2 years, my approach has changed like throughout, right? Because I always try to like optimize it, make it better,
Yeah.
always refining it. So when I started, it was actually like very crazy. Like even though I was like negative on my bank account,
Yeah.
the risk per trade I was taking was 4%.
Okay.
And it was always like actually that time my risk to reward was 0.5. So I
Uh-huh.
risked 4% to make 2%. And I did that because back then you had to make 8% in 30 days.
Yeah.
So I had to risk 4%,
Exactly. All right.
especially
Makes
with
sense.
a half risk reward. So it was my only option. But because of that, my winner was very high. It was like 85 to 90%. So I would get like 4 or 5 win streak very commonly. And that was good enough to pass a challenge and then make payouts. So that's what I did basically for the first 5 months.
All right.
But after that, somehow my edge just started decreasing, like especially on the 0.5
Mm-hmm.
risk reward. I was getting so many more losses. And the problem with that is like now one loss, you need 2 wins to come
Yeah,
back
exactly.
up.
Yeah.
And that was really bad. Like I lost 4 trades, now I need 8 trades just to come to break even. And especially with my system, I kind of try to take the best setups in a week. I get about 2 to 3 trades a week.
All right.
Even though they're like scalps,
Yeah.
it's only 2 to 3 scalps a
Yeah.
week. So with that now to come to break even, it's gonna take me like 2 months or something. That's
Exactly,
not
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So that's when I went back in the charts, every trade I reviewed it. I checked like if I can refine anything. At the end, I managed to bring my risk to reward to 1 to 1. And since then, it's been going quite well with 1 to 1.
So when you came back to 1-to-1 risk reward for the first time, like were you again risking 4% on the phases?
No, because then I reduced it. Then I went to like 1 or 2%.
Okay.
Because it
makes
was more
sense.
realistic. And by then, prop firms also had already done like
Unlimited.
unlimited.
Yeah.
So I started taking it very slowly. Not, even though it took me 3 months now to pass challenge, it was kind of guaranteed.
Yeah.
So why risk losing the challenge fee when it's guaranteed, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. So on phase 1, you were doing 4%, and on the phase 2,
Same.
it was the same
Yeah.
on phase 2 as well.
Yeah.
And what about the funded account?
Fund account would decrease it because now I want to
Okay.
pay out.
Yeah, yeah.
I would do like 2% to make 1%. Yeah.
All right. Tell me about your trading strategy, just in general, like how you start your trading day, then what you look for in the market, which pairs you trade, and how you trade.
So I only trade NASDAQ. I've never traded any other pair except NASDAQ.
Yeah.
And the way I trade is around New York, like 30 minutes after New York Open, is when I start looking at the charts. And usually what NASDAQ does is like a big move at New York Open, and then it always like retraces towards 30 minutes later. So what my goal is, I look for like support resistance levels, and instead of trying to trade the reaction at the support or the
Yeah.
resistance, I kind of place a pending order in
Mhm.
between. And let's say my bias is short and price just went up and I'm aiming price to come down here, I will place a short 1 to 1 in the middle.
Yeah.
So if price does come down, it will hit me in and
Okay.
go down. So I'm not really trying to predict like exact top or bottom.
All
I'm
right.
just trying to get in the move in while the move's happening, like in between.
So what's the time frame on which you trade?
Only 5 minutes.
Only 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you just do your analysis on the 5 minute
Yeah,
as
only
well.
5 minutes.
That's incredible. Like I remember when I started, I used to look at 1 minute time frame, 3 minute,
Same,
5
same.
minute, 15 minute, one. Like all the time frame I used to open at one
Same.
screen. Yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
think most of the people start. But once you find your time frame, you know that what you are looking for in the market, then and only then you start to understand, all right, if market is going to give you certain conditions, then you're going to be taking the trades.
Yeah, especially for like scalping, right? Because let's say you're doing like fundamental trading, then sure, you need a high time frame because you need like more of kind of prediction, like a realistic thing with the real world scenarios. But scalping, you just need an edge that can be based on price action or whatever, right? It doesn't have to be, you don't need a natural reason behind
Yeah.
price to do something. It can just be support resistance, for example. But support resistance on like a daily time frame is not the best idea
Exactly,
because
yeah.
daily time frame I would say is like more fundamental driven, right?
Yeah. You know, the big players, I remember when I had the mentor, when I was learning, he used to say big players of the market, the big boys, they basically are interested in moving the higher time frames. And we retail traders are more interested in the smaller time frame. And I
Yeah.
think your perspective about the support and resistance on daily time frame, it's more like fundamental, and that's totally like correct in my opinion as well.
Mhm.
All right, so let's move on. And I want to go back a little bit and I want to talk about your student when you were becoming profitable, and you were still student when you did 200K in payouts profits. So how about like when you started, did your family stop you to not trade? Like how did you basically get involved into it properly and you ended up making 200K, and now what they say about it now?
Yeah, so at the start it was a bit of a sticky one, like especially Asian parents,
Yeah.
they're a bit like skeptical about all this. They want you to study and not be doing this. Like every time my parents walk into my room, I'm just like staring at charts, like
Yeah.
candlesticks, and this like you're crazy. Like why are you staring at the same thing? Like
Yeah.
it's like an image for them, right? I'm just looking at it every
exactly.
day. I'm like I'm trying to do business here. I'm trying to like make money, right? So I just kept doing that. A lot of times they did like get a bit angry, right?
Yeah.
But then my dad kind of knew that there's potential in the business side, so he just like kind of encouraging it that I should be taking more risk. I should be looking into business more. My dad always like was more on the business side. He knew education is important, but he was fine with me putting that as like a plan B if I
Yeah.
can really like guarantee myself some results on the business side.
Yeah.
But my mom, she didn't believe in the business side that much. She thinks that education is the most important thing. Like, if you don't have education, you can be a millionaire, but it's worthless then to be a millionaire. That's how my
Yeah.
mom thinks,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, so I just still kept doing what I was doing, right? And then
The reason like I asked because I'm also from Asian background, and I remember like I was in Pakistan when I started trading, and in Pakistan like it's the same thing. Your parents, they ask you to not trade. They tell you like it's not gonna be possible that you can make money. And I was lucky enough that they just spotted me in a way like, because I was in Pakistan, I had no savings at all. Like we cannot even borrow any money from anyone. So I took money from them, and they I was lucky enough that they at least gave me the money, and I invested into learning, and also at the time before I was going into Proform. So I think like because I was able to generate some of the profits back in 2018 on my account that I was trading. So I used that profit and also that money to go into Proform, and then I stick with that. So that's the reason I wanted to ask, like, you were a student and how did your parents react, and when you became profitable, now what they say about it?
yeah, also to be honest, I never told them that like I was so basically when I started university, I got like after first year, so 2 years into it,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have about like 8,000
Okay.
in my bank from maintenance loan and all these like
yeah.
loans from the government, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm down minus 1.5k.
Yeah.
I never told them.
Yeah.
I would actually die. Like I told them, right? There's no way. I never told them, and just all went well after that, right?
That's first, man. They are definitely very proud of you.
Yeah. But what was the question you said?
Like what they say now
Oh,
about.
now they're fine. Like now they see that I'm just buying stuff right comfortably.
Yeah.
I'm buying them stuff. I can afford to take them to experiences, myself to
Yeah.
experiences. Obviously, I'm still not like that high level,
Yeah.
right? Like they still pay for the house and everything. I'm not like that much of a good trader. I'm making so much money right now, but I'm definitely like I would say like, top earners at my age for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. I agree with you there. So I want to know, when you learn trading, it somehow affects you psychologically when you are seeing numbers going against you. So how did you like control your emotions and your psychology as well?
To be honest, I just became numb to it at one point. Like you just
Alright.
get tired of keep losing, right?
Yeah.
And then you just have to make a decision. Like, are you gonna keep doing the same thing, or are you just gonna like firm it at that point? Like if you're down, you're gonna feel this way.
Mhm.
What's the point of feeling that way? So just stop like feeling like that. Like you just have to be strong, like hearted, right? At that
Yeah.
point, there's no other thing you can do. No option.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
You can will cry about it. Nothing's gonna change. If you're down 5,000, you're down 5,000.
You trade your personal capital as well. What would you say is the difference when it comes to trading your own capital as compared to trading with the pro firms?
It's definitely the psychological area because personal capital you lose.
Yeah.
I can be as strong as I want to,
Yeah.
but 2 hours later, I'm still thinking about I'm down like 1,000 on my real account, right?
Yeah.
And if I don't make the back in the next few days, that's bad. Like I'm already thinking about it that I might lose 1,000. And imagine that keeps becoming bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Now I'm potentially have that money lost forever if I make a mistake. But eventually you get over that, especially if you can prove to yourself over and over that you go down and you come back up, right? And it just becomes a pattern. You're like, oh, I'm down 2,000, but I've been down 2,000 like the past 15 times
Yeah.
and I came back up. So it's all good. It's the first few times when it's like scary. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it.
All right. Yeah. That's good. That's good. And I want to deep dive into the risk management side of trading. When you started 2 years ago with prop firms, at that time we had limits on passing phase one and passing phase two, and you were doing 4% in both the phases. Then you shifted from 4% to like lower risk because we now have no time limit. So if you are starting, let's say, with the experience that you have, if you're starting today with the pro firms, how would you approach passing the challenge? in terms of risk management?
Like right now with the unlimited time.
Yeah, everything what's going on in the industry.
Yeah, so with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So with the current situation that prop firms are literally disappearing, right? I would be like going extremely aggressive. So if I have my edge, I would first run the numbers. I'll be like, okay, my max drawdown is this.
Mhm.
So if I risk this much, I might out of 10 times this many accounts will be blown, right? Like you need to calculate your probability of passing a challenge with different risks, but you have to make sure that you optimize it for the fastest passing time.
Yeah.
So even if that requires you risk 4.5% per trade, just do it. Like I'm currently risking like 4.5 per trade. So you have to pass as fast as possible and then make payouts as fast as possible before prop firms are gone. Like that's the best way. There's no point keeping an account super long. That's what I did. Like for the funded trader,
Yeah.
I was the longest account holder with them.
For how many days?
Like 700 plus days.
Oh damn! I held their account for 550 something days, but 700 is definitely incredible.
I was at 700 just when they went down, and yeah, I had 600K for 700 days.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
That's very nice.
And it was all King's program, so it was basically a personal account, 600K. I was making like payouts every day with them.
So when they went down, were you still holding their account?
I did have their account, yeah,
Okay.
but it
So
was
you-
a little bit in drawdown. I was
Okay.
recovering it, but they just went.
So you lost that funding.
Yeah.
All right. So how many currently you are funded with?
Currently, I funded 300K with the Alpha Capital Group, and currently I have like a 16K payout waiting for them.
I haven't traded Alpha Capital personally, but I have seen like they are doing very good, and
Yeah.
there's barely any payout rejection until this
Mhm.
date. When we are doing the podcast, we don't
Yeah.
know what is going to happen after that.
Yeah, as of right now, I can recommend them. I've
Oh.
spoken to the CEO, met him and stuff.
Okay.
It seems all good, but then again, I met the CEO of Funded Trader as well.
Exactly. We never know what's going to
Yeah.
happen. All right, so let's move on. And now I want to know your opinion about the current situation of the prop firm industry and how, like, what you think is going wrong and how it can be better.
To be honest, I'm not too invested into it. Like, if I see prop firm's gone, right, I'm just like, I don't care. Okay, next
Yeah.
one. I go to the next one, do my thing. If it's gone, I go to the next one. I'm not like, oh, they're doing this wrong in their business. If they fix this, it'll be better. Like, I really don't care about that.
That's very
I'm
good.
trading my personal accounts, which are making me good money, right? Prop firms are like the bonus for me right
Yeah.
now. I trade prop firms. That's a good bonus. I keep doing it. If they're gone, I go again. Different one, right?
And that's the reason why I asked, because I've seen many traders out there, because I overall probably in like last 2 years done 200 plus funded trader interviews on the Zoom call. And many of them, they have just made like 30, 40, 50,000 only in the payouts. And when I asked them the question, or I used to ask them recently, so I was like trying to just understand how they're going to be reacting about, oh, they should not be doing this. But as a trader, your goal should be to just focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And if firms are giving you any funds like to trade once you pass the challenges, and if you're only going with the firms there who are actually paying traders, and you just focus on trading your personal account, make profit with payouts or like with prop firms, and use that to reinvest in your capital, personal capital is the best way, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So I want to know, if a trader comes to you and he's just a beginner trader and he wants to become profitable, what would you recommend to him?
Different ways. So I'll say something that will work for anyone is first learning the basics, right?
Yeah.
So maybe go on like baby pips, just read it, like spend a few days reading that so you understand what trading is as a general, like what are you even going into. Then go on YouTube, start searching maybe how to trade, how to day trade, how to swing trade. Watch all these videos, even though they're not going to give you like the magical strategy, right? Which eventually you might start looking for.
Yeah.
But still watch these videos so that you go through that little process of understanding what trading actually is and how people are looking at it. Once you're done with that and you have the whole basic knowledge and you understand, like once you come to an understanding that you need to backtest, forward test, and collect data, that's when you're in a good position to do those things. And then I would recommend, so I would say pick any concept, like anything works, to be honest. ICT, supply demand, support resistance, everything works.
Yeah.
You just need to keep testing it, keep backtesting on the charts, and keep changing things around how you like. And eventually you will find the edge. The edge can be
Okay.
very small, right?
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, even 1% a month, that's very profitable. That's 12% a year.
Yeah.
Imagine that on 1 million, like that's a lot, 120K. So do that. So the way I recommend people is you do 6 months of backtesting, then you do 3 months of forward testing on like a demo or like a small personal, and then you go 3 months late, like the next 3 months, now you go into an actual prop firm. So now you have like a whole year of
Yeah.
data that is supporting your actual trades.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what is your goal now? You're 20 years old. You just completed your degree, and you, I think, did computer science, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. So you completed your degree now. what is your goal for future about trading and in your life general?
So I'm gonna keep trading and keep accumulating as much capital as possible, and start looking into other businesses. Right, make some high risk investments, perhaps into like crypto or other things that have high return and the high risk. Right, because you gotta make more money. Like
Yeah,
trading, I feel like even if you make 15, 10, 20K a month, right, that's only like 200K, for example, a year, right?
yeah, yeah,
That's not that much.
yeah, exactly.
So to get to like the millions, you need to like take high risks. So that's what I'm gonna do more, take high risks and try to diversify my money into different businesses, hopefully.
Okay, one thing that you will tell yourself if you are starting out today, what would you recommend to you how you should approach business and as well as trading?
I would say, I mean, I would just recommend the same thing that I've been doing, which is to never give up.
Yeah,
Because you never give up,
yeah,
you will never lose, right? Like you might be sad, tired, you wake up the next day, do the same thing again, keep doing it, right? Eventually something will work. It's impossible something that won't work forever. Like think about it, nothing, you can be like, oh, eat forever, you'll get fat for sure,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Run forever, you'll lose weight for
yeah,
sure if you keep running forever.
yeah.
If you do something forever, the result's guaranteed
All
every
right.
time.
So I think let's wrap the today's interview, like podcast. And guys, this was the very first time I'm doing the podcast one on one, and we have ArmanTrades with us. And if you have any question, if you haven't followed Arman on social media, I have added his links in the description on the YouTube video. And if you have any question, do let me know in the comment section, and do not forget to subscribe my YouTube channel. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.